Hedgie's Surprise by Jan Brett. Once there was a speckled hen who laid an egg every day, only to have it taken by a little tomtin every morning. It all started because the tomtin got tired of porridge for breakfast. Each morning the rooster crowed as the sun came up, and Henny knew the tomtin was on his way. So did the little hedgehog who lived nearby. The tomtin always called out to her, "Henny, have you got a little yummy for my hungry, hungry tummy?" The tomtin climbed into the henhouse, took Henny's warm, smooth egg, and ran off to cook it in his little kettle, sprinkle it with salt, and gobble it down. Then he fell fast asleep in the hayloft until evening. Henny didn't like the tomtin taking her eggs, but she put up with it until one morning when she saw Goosey sail forth, smiling and bowing, with a stream of pipping goslings following her. "Oh my," Henny clucked, "where did all those little ones come from?" "My eggs are hatching," crooned Goosey. "Here comes the last one now." From that moment on, Henny wanted a brood of peeping chicks of her own, but how could she stop the tomtin from taking her eggs? The next morning, when the tomtin poked his head in, Henny tried. She clucked loudly and pecked. She flew at him, but nothing stopped that hungry tomtin from taking her egg again. "No eggs, no chicks, no peeping babies!" Henny wailed so loudly that she woke up the little hedgehog, her tears pouring down on top of him. "Puffa, puffa, stick!" Hedgie went as he crawled out to talk to her. "Poor Henny, I've been watching the tomtin take your eggs. I'll help you trick him into stopping." The next morning, when the rooster crowed, there was the tomtin. "Henny, have you got a little yummy for my nearly empty tummy?" Henny and Hedgie were ready. The tomtin reached for an egg and pulled out an acorn. Said the tomtin, "what's this?" And off he went to try it. The acorn was tasty, but it didn't fill him up, and he woke in the middle of the afternoon grumpy. The next time the tomtin arrived looking for an egg, he found a bright red strawberry. It looked bigger than the acorn, so he ran off to cook it. The strawberry was jammy and sweet, but it only filled up the tomtin a little more than the acorn had, and he woke up early. The sun had just come up when the tomtin was at the henhouse again, his stomach roaring with hunger. Pushing Henny aside, he grabbed for an egg, only to find a delicious smelling mushroom. He raced off to cook it, and as scrumptious as it was, he woke up with his little tummy growling for more. "Cock-a-doodle!" The tomtin rushed in even before the rooster finished crowing. "Henny, have you got something for my hollow tummy?" This time he found a smooth, round potato, even bigger than an egg. He cooked it quickly, swallowed it down, and went back to his hayloft. When he woke up at sunset only half full, the tomtin had had enough. "Henny," he shouted, "tomorrow I want an egg for breakfast and nothing else. If I don't find one, I'll eat you up instead." Henny was scared. The tomtin had been tricked by an acorn, a strawberry, a mushroom, and a potato. How could they fool him again? "Don't worry, Henny," Hedgie told her. "Now it is time for my surprise." And he whispered in her ear. All night Henny waited on her nest, and Hedgie on his. As soon as it began to get light, Hedgie gently covered his nest with straw and got ready for his surprise. Henny and Hedgie could hear that Tomtin's stomach rumbling like thunder a mile away. He burst into the henhouse, pushed Henny aside, and grabbed. "Ow!" he howled. "Ow! Ow! Puffa, puffa, stick, stick!" He had clutched Hedgie all closed up in a tight round ball of needle-sharp prickles. Henny and Hedgie listened as the Tomtin ran home, yowling. "Thank you, Hedgie," Henny said, looking at her dear friend. "I'm sure that Tomtin won't be back here again for breakfast. But what I can't figure out is, where have you hidden my eggs?" Just then Henny heard a little peep, then another coming from Hedgie's nest. She looked over and saw the straw begin to move. 5 baby chicks peeked out of their shells and fluffed up their down as Henny settled down with her babies nestled around her. The Tomtin's mother was in the hayloft making breakfast for her hungry Tomtin. "Hedgie, Hedgie, Hedgie, you are full of surprises," Henny cried as she led her baby chicks out into the sunshine. But the little Tomtin didn't hear a word. He was sound asleep, his tummy full of tasty porridge. All about Hedgie's surprise. Hedgie's surprise is a story about friendship. Like many great partners, Hedgie's skills balance nicely with his friend Henny, who has talents of her own. I needed a mischief maker to set events in motion. A Danish Tomtin was my choice. On a trip to Denmark, I learned that a Tomtin is a Danish elf who lives secretly in the barn. If the farmer offers him porridge, the Tomtin helps things along on the farm. But if the farmer ignores the little elf, things go mysteriously wrong. I have always been fascinated by hedgehogs. They are wild animals that coexist with us humans. Because hedgehogs protect themselves by rolling in a ball, they don't run away. We can observe their big, sensitive eyes for seeing in the dark and their funny, turned up snouts for digging insects. They are adorable and comical at the same time. I decided I must have my very own chicken. I needed to observe her to draw her well for my book. I bought 1-day-old chicks and raised them under a heat lamp. Now I have my own flock of 5 magnificent laying hens that have become my dear pets. Pansy and Bluebell are silver-laced Wyandottes. The old biddy Dahlia is a Delaware, and she is top hen. Daisy and Chrysanthemum are my fancy bantam silkies. They all lay eggs, which are delicious. They love to pose for me because they get bored easily.